former Laverne police officer fired in the midst of a sex scandal goes on the record with Fox 17 News.
So you didn't put your hands around her neck?
I didn't put my hands around her neck.
Why he says the city failed him.
A hidden danger, how unlicensed taxis are putting you at risk. Fox 17 News at 9 starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
And we start Fox 17 News at 9 tonight in a Code Red weather alert. Here is a live look over the Cumberland River as flood advisories go into effect tonight ahead of yet another round of storms. You may be weather weary, especially after everything that we've seen this past week, but obviously can't let your guard down.
No, can't do that. Code Red Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan here to make sure we don't. Tracking our next weather maker and keeping an eye on the weekend.
Yeah, it looks like tomorrow we're going to be looking at another round of showers moving through. Some could be heavy, and that's why we're going to remain in our Code Red alert. The good news is the severe weather threat that we were expecting is no longer a problem for us. But still, with the amount of rain that we've seen over the past week, the potential for a little bit more rain may cause localized flooding issues. It's not going to be a widespread problem, I should say, but the potential for a localized issue will be there. Radar picture is quiet for tonight, the exception a few showers to the north and to the west. That's going to be where most of the rain is as we head through the next few hours. This is all ground clutter, we'll call it, on radar. There's really nothing there, but especially on some of these mild nights, radar can pick up on some of those air particles or dust and things that are in the sky, and that's what that is there. As we take a look here, showers passing just toward north and west. These will be the ones that need to be monitored through the overnight, and I expect more of those to fill in as we head towards the morning. That is going to be where our higher flood threat is too for tomorrow morning. Your eye probably drawn to the south. That's where most of the rain will be as we head through the afternoon hours. Our Broadway camera apparently not working at the moment. It was working just a minute ago. 71, our current temperature, very warm and mild start to the evening for us, and we'll drop back into those low 60s for the overnight. We'll talk more about timing out this rain. It unfortunately does include part of your weekend too. I know we have a lot of events going on, graduations and other things outdoors. You're going to need another plan for indoors. We'll talk about the rain coming in for the weekend as well coming up.
People will walk away and be like, I love the music, but I didn't love how I felt threatened by the taxi drivers.
Continuing coverage tonight on a hidden danger downtown. Unlicensed taxis posing as the real deal. People actually contacting Fox 17 News saying that this has become a safety hazard that could ruin the reputation of Music City. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller joining us live downtown after speaking with at least one musician that says they were victimized. Caitlin.
Yes, Megan. Well, we've been speaking with several musicians downtown this week that are concerned about who's picking people up here on Broadway. Now, some of these taxis are legitimate and licensed, while others are not.
Laying back, just listening to...
Matt Greer is a local musician who performs at Broadway's popular bars like Tootsie's and Honky Tonk Central.
The girl in my old S10.
Greer says since musicians are a big part of the tourist experience, they look out for them.
I've been hanging out together. In my world, that makes us friends. And to hear about someone that you make a connection with and just the thought of them getting in a wrong predicament.
But Greer says some taxis downtown are not what they appear to be.
Some are real. Some you can see little badges on some. Some are verified taxis, but some are not. Some are, it looks like it's just like slap some stickers on there, or they just have a little taxi sign on there. And that is really concerning.
Greer says he has friends who have been threatened and slapped by drivers. And he emphasizes he's been ripped off.
They say it's only going to cost you $30, but then next thing you know, when you're getting out, it's $80, $100, and you've only gone 2 miles.
Fox 17 News reached out to the director of the Transportation Licensing Commission twice this week to see if they are aware of this issue, and we have not heard back. A TLC board member says they have regulations and enforcement, people who can respond to complaints. But Greer says more needs to be done.
There needs to be some sort of regulation that's in place, and like you cannot be a taxi driver down there on Broadway or going from the airport to your hotel without a certain verification that we know, like say on like Twitter you have a blue check. It's kind of like that for a taxi driver.
To make it obvious to passengers, who's legitimate and who's not.
Now, since our coverage, people have told us that this is also happening at Nashville International Airport. Now, we reached out to BNA to see if they are aware of this, but they say that there have been no formal reports of unlicensed drivers. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, telling legit cab drivers from the unlicensed taxis, not exactly easy, but there are ways to spot them. Real taxis have a light on their roof. When you open the door, there should be a meter, a two-way radio, and a decal, as well as a driver's permit. If something is missing, they urge you not to get inside.
Tonight, disturbing new revelations about yesterday's deadly plane crash in Williamson County. The victims include a plastic surgeon from Louisiana and his two children who were scheduled to graduate from college tomorrow. Tonight, the feds confirmed their plane started to break up in midair.
One of the pieces of the Beechcraft B-35 collected from a debris field that spans a half mile. Federal investigators say this plane took off from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, about 8:50 a.m. en route to Louisville, Kentucky. About 10 minutes before the crash, radar data shows the speed increased and the flight path became erratic.
Shortly thereafter, credible witnesses that we've already spoken with described the airplane as being an approximate level attitude with both wings folding backwards and the airplane going violently out of control.
Investigators say the pilot, plastic surgeon Lucius Doucette III, and his twins, Giselle and John Luke, were killed on impact.
Our prayers and our thoughts go out to the family in this tragic loss. I have been in contact with that family, and I know this is very devastating to them.
A veteran pilot and flight instructor who inspected the flight data suggests a faulty autopilot may have played a role.
We see that the airplane is flying consistently, but then the speed more than doubles as the airplane is plunging toward the ground. This is indicative to me of a pilot who's attempting to troubleshoot a malfunctioning autopilot in flight.
It's among the things federal investigators will consider as they put the pieces of this plane back together.
This airplane doesn't have a black box per se, but there is data on board the flight instrumentation, and we were fortunate enough to get 2 data cards.
And federal investigators are hoping those cards will shed some light on the definitive cause of the crash. Toward that end, tonight they're asking anyone who has either cell phone or doorbell video to share it with them. If that's you, send it to, and this is their email address, witness@ntsb.gov.
Why are they doing this? Because they realize that healthcare organizations need access to patient data and critical operations, and unfortunately, they will pay the ransom.
Well, some Ascension hospitals here in Middle Tennessee are having trouble pulling up your medical records. As Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse shows us, the hospital says that it did notice strange activity on their network, which did turn out to be a ransomware attack.
So you understand what ransomware attacks look like. Cyber criminals will encrypt a network and revoke access to their victims. Now, the way that victims can gain access is only if they pay a ransom, and it's usually in the form of Bitcoin because it's nearly impossible to trace.
Why would cyber criminals want to attack healthcare organizations? Well, retired FBI agent Scott Augenbaum says healthcare organizations have a gold mine for identity fraud. Name, date of birth, social security numbers, and that information is likely sold on the dark web, allowing these keyboard criminals to commit financial fraud against patients and even organizations. What can people and organizations do?
Are we training our end users to be the first line of defense, or are they part of the problem? The next thing I see is something as simple as two-factor authentication. If you happen to be a patient at one of these organizations that have been victimized, really make sure that if you're getting an email from the organization, don't respond to the email, pick up the telephone call.
Ascension says safety and caring for patients is a top priority. And for patients concerned about their personal information, Ascension is investigating with the help of law enforcement the FBI, and other agencies.
Ascension is asking patients to bring notes on their conditions along with their prescription numbers and prescription bottles in case the location you're at is having trouble accessing medical records. Reporting in Midtown, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Now, we want to know what you think. Do you worry about cyber criminals impacting critical infrastructure in our country, like hospitals in this case, maybe the power grid? Polls live right now. So far, 237 people have weighed in. 82% say yes, we're worried about that. Just under 18% say they aren't. If you'd like to add your vote to our list, just scan the QR code there on the right-hand side of your screen. It'll take you to our X page, which is @FoxNashville, and we will show updated results later in the newscast.
Going on the record, what a former Laverne police sergeant has to say about the sex scandal that cost him his job.
And opening
from scratch buttermilk biscuit with sausage and egg, signature gravy, or country fried steak. And now enjoy breakfast till noon every day. Hardee's, goodness in the making.
A former Laverne police officer goes on the record with Fox 17 News about the sex scandal that rocked the department.
Well, Ty McGowan, one of 6 officers fired for inappropriate conduct with former officer Megan Hall. Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin continues her conversation with Ty McGowan.
Last week, we told you that Ty McGowan denies ever having a sexual relationship with Megan Hall, although Hall says it happened. He also refutes Hall's claim in her lawsuit that alleges he groomed her for sexual exploitation. Tonight, we dig into text messages and HR behavior claims.
The independent investigation of this sex scandal showed several text message exchanges between Ty McGowan and former Laverne Chief Burl Davis.
There were some pretty explicit text messages between you and Chief Davis talking about those videos and photos. Why say some of those things?
I understand what you're saying, and that's a good question, and I'd like to clear that up. Okay, once again, I'm an undercover cop. Once I realized that his intentions were different than what he initially stated.
Do you regret how any of those messages came across?
Some of that stuff, yeah, I could say that I regret. However, the job at hand was to comply with my boss's orders. So with that, I'm going to play the part like I'm with you. I'm on your side.
The city's investigation also alleged workplace violence and claimed McGowan came into the Human Resources office and put his hands around the neck of an HR employee. McGowan also denies doing that.
So you didn't put your hand around her neck?
I didn't put my hands around her neck. I put my hands on her shoulder, and we were both, I was shaking and she was shaking, and we were laughing, hysterically.
In February of this year, McGowan filed a lawsuit against Laverne, claiming unlawful race discrimination and retaliation.
Anybody that knows me knows that I'm not a guy that goes around screaming racial discrimination, but the whole world could see that. You had 3 black officers and 1 Hispanic fired. 3 other white officers in the same scenario retained their jobs.
What message would you have for the Laverne community who may not trust the police department anymore and the people who are supposed to serve and protect them?
Well, the Laverne community, there are some good officers out there, and most of them I've trained. It's not the officers. It's not the officers. It was one bad egg, and here we are.
We reached out to the city of Laverne, who says they stand by their investigation. We have also reached out to attorneys for Megan Hall for several months now, giving her an opportunity to sit down with us, but we have not heard back. Reporting in the studio, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, unfortunately, we are under the gun, potentially for weather again.
Yeah, this time around, we're looking at the potential for heavy rain, more so than severe weather. So that's good news. Our focus has shifted today from yesterday. So yesterday, it looked like we may have severe weather. Today, not so much. So that's The good. The bad is that our heavy rain threat's going up a little bit here for Friday and potentially into Saturday too. Both days looking like we could pick up some heavy rainfall, and typically we wouldn't be concerned with maybe 1 to 2 inches total, but it's been so soggy over the past 7 to 10 days that it may only add to some flooding issues that we have going on. Friday, a chance for showers off and on all day. It's not going to be raining all day. It's just that chance is there for pockets of rain between morning, afternoon, and into the early evening hours. In fact, we'll break it down for you more. You can see a lot of the rain is going to happen in the morning here. So I think the more intense or the more widespread showers will happen through Friday morning. And then as we get into the afternoon, we'll start to see more scattered pockets of rain. I do see a break as we head into Friday night, early Saturday. And then as we get into Saturday afternoon and evening, the potential for more showers begins to pick up. It's going to depend on where those pockets set up as to how rainy it will be for your Saturday and for your event. It's one of those things where they'll just kind of pop up where they decide to pop up. We don't really have a timing. So our risk for flooding for tomorrow, there is a slight risk or level 2 risk here, mainly north and west of Nashville, and this will happen mostly for the morning hours. Again, those showers should become a little more scattered in nature as we go through the afternoon. So here's through 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. As we head into the afternoon and early evening, you can see a lot of that rain begins to clear, a break through the overnight, and then we get into Saturday morning, more showers moving in. I will say that the heavier rain and the better threat for a few strong thunderstorms will stay well south of us, more so underneath this front here and to the right of the cold front or ahead of the cold front. And we get into the afternoon and evening on Saturday, wraparound moisture will allow more showers to push through Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. A little closer to home here. We'll walk you through tonight and into early tomorrow morning. So through the evening hours tonight, maybe a stray shower at best. This is 6 a.m. Friday. We'll have scattered pockets of rain around that will likely increase as we head through the late morning hours. Again, I think that heavier threat for rain is going to be to our northwest. So if you wake up tomorrow morning, you're not seeing a ton of rainfall, just keep in mind, again, it looks to be pretty scattered across the area here. One of those situations where you may or may not see rain, but where we do see those showers, it could be heavy at times. This is 3 o'clock. Some scattered showers continue. Here's 6 p.m. And then we get into late Friday night, early Saturday. Brief break from rain. Here's 6 a.m. into the late morning hours. Still looking okay. But as we get into the later part of the day, we are looking at more rain to move through that should last through the early evening. So if you have plans Saturday morning, I would say that is your better bet for being dry compared to afternoon and evening. The way it's looking right now, I wouldn't say that's 100%. There's still a chance in the morning for some showers on Saturday, but at least a slightly better chance at being dry compared to the afternoon and evening. We'll talk more about the rest of your weekend, and we are looking ahead to the last few weeks of May. That's in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast. Megan.
Thank you, Katie. A venue change, all due to threats. Who is stepping up to host a pro-Israel event?
Earlier this year, GOP lawmakers tanked Democrats with Lazy Boy.
We worked overtime. Now it's TV time.
Lazy Boy's Memorial Day sale, 25% off everything in the store. Going on now at all 3 Lazy Boy locations.
Well, new numbers show illegal crossings at the southern border are down by 6% in April, but the border crisis remains a top issue for voters.
As Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskins shows us, of course, both parties want to show they're the ones who can fix it. You can let us know what you think by scanning the QR code that will appear on your screen during our story.
With November's election inching closer, Democrats refocusing efforts to address one of their perceived biggest weaknesses, the crisis at the southern border.
Most Americans just want to see the border fixed, regardless of who does it.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer bringing up the issue multiple times this week amid reports he'll soon bring back the failed border security package for another vote.
As we all know, Donald Trump swooped in and told his MAGA supporters to kill the bill.
Many Republicans, including Texas Senator Ted Cruz, say that bill is deeply flawed, vowing to oppose it again.
This bill, if passed, would make the problem worse. It puts into law Joe Biden's open borders. It codifies catch and release. It gives work permits to illegal immigrants. It gives taxpayer-funded lawyers to illegal immigrants.
At the White House, President Biden reportedly planning to take executive action. According to the New York Post, Biden's executive order will shut down the U.S.-Mexico border when migrant crossings reach 4,000 a day. And in an effort to modernize the documentation process of the millions of migrants here illegally, the Biden administration preparing to roll out a controversial pilot program giving out federal ID cards to migrants.
The idea that the federal government would provide valid IDs to people we know are here illegally is ridiculous.
Senator Josh Hawley introducing a bill to block the program, arguing it will only encourage more illegal migration.
It is a further step towards legitimizing what has been an absolute travesty. 9 million illegals crossing this border just in the last 3 years.
Chuck Schumer says the Senate could vote as early as next week on a border security bill. If that happens, a lot of negotiations will have to take place between now and then to get GOP senators on board. On Capitol Hill, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
During the story, we have a QR code up linking you to a poll asking, who do you blame for the crisis at the border? 54% say President Biden, 11% say Congress, 34% say both. Thanks for all who took time to vote.
A venue change for a pro-Israel conference. Who?
Entire Sleep Center. It's going on now.
The B.F. Myers Furniture and Mattress Memorial Day sale.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by B.F. Myers Furniture.
Continuing coverage tonight as a new venue is opening its doors for a pro-Israel summit held by a Nashville Christian ministry.
A Nashville hotel canceled the event, which is set to start on Monday after receiving some threats. The pro-Israel summit moved from the Sonesta Hotel, which is located right here out by Nashville International Airport near Briley and 40. And it's now moving down south of the city into Franklin right here at the Ramsey Event Center, Dave Ramsey's place. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar now with more on the cancellation and the backlash.
The Christian ministry says threats forced them to move their pro-Israel summit to a different and safer location right here behind me at the Ramsey Event Center in Franklin. As a recap, the Sonesta Nashville Airport Hotel, where the summit was supposed to be held, says they had no choice but to cancel after getting threat after threat. A Metro Police spokesperson sent a statement that said in part, quote, "I am aware that the Sonesta was receiving a number of external messages urging that it not host the event. In the end, the Sonesta Hotel made a corporate decision to cancel." The Jewish Federation of Greater Nashville also provided a statement saying in part, quote, "The Jewish Federation of Greater Nashville is aware and upset that a local hotel canceled a planned conference scheduled next week featuring a number of Israeli speakers as a result of pressure from an organized phone call campaign. Palestine Hurrah, a pro-Palestine group, called people from the hotel to cancel the event." Well, we reached out to that pro-Palestine group to get comment, and we also reached out to the Franklin Police Department to see if there's going to be an increased security presence at that upcoming summit. The Franklin Police Department tells me that they are closely monitoring the situation. Reporting in Franklin, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
We remain in a code red alert tonight for the potential of some heavy rainfall going into tomorrow morning. Thankfully, our severe weather threat is no more. Not the case for folks in Houston. This is a radar loop from this evening around 6:30. You can see an active tornado warning at 6:30 moving into Houston, but they saw likely hurricane force winds. I'll put this in motion and you can see that it moved through. There is extensive damage in the Houston area. This is actually video coming in from the Houston Heights area, and many more videos coming in through social media this evening here. This is just one picture here of the storm that was moving through. Again, winds were estimated at around 110 miles per hour, and there is a ton of damage this evening, unfortunately, for folks in the Houston area. In fact, they are approaching in the county where Houston is right now. Around 1 million customers without power this evening. So again, really intense storm that moved through the Houston area earlier this evening here. Temperatures for us will be pretty mild for tomorrow morning. Again, we do track the potential for some heavy rain. In addition to that, we'll have some rumbles of thunder here and there. Our forecast out the door at 7 a.m. does include some showers, most likely scattered across the area. We'll talk more about rain as we head toward the weekend coming up.
Just 12 games into the MLS season, and Nashville SC has decided the Gary Smith era is officially over. The mid-season move may come as a bit of a surprise, but if you've been following the club this season, you might have seen the writing on the wall. Smith has led Nashville SC to 6 straight playoff appearances. However, the argument could be made they've never been able to take that next step in the postseason. After a conference semifinal appearance in 2021, Nashville SC has failed to win an MLS playoff game the last 2 years. It's also worth noting that Nashville SC was close, very close to getting its first ever trophy last year, finishing runner-up in the League's Cup final. But since that run, Nashville SC has won just 5 of its last 27 MLS matches. It's also important to take into account that injuries have played a big role this season. All 3 of Nashville's designated players have missed significant time. And really, Gary Smith has only had his first choice of players for the last couple of weeks. Ben Wright with MLSsoccer.com and Broadway Sports Media points out, though, that the injuries haven't been the only concerning part of Nashville's play.
These issues that we're seeing, certainly injuries haven't helped, but it's the same issues that they had last year with the full roster, pretty much since their League's Cup run, since they made it to the final last summer and lost to Inter Miami. They struggled to really create anything going forward. Their attack was predictable, didn't change anything up. It was kind of the same old story for them for most of the year, and we've seen a lot of those issues kind of carry on into 2024.
You heard Ben mention the lack of offense from this team. Well, their decrease in number of goals from season to season is proof of that. Last year, Nashville scoring just 39 goals in the regular season, ranked 22nd in the league. This year, only 15 goals. They're only 12 games in, but still that number already ranking 20th in the MLS. As for what's next, Boys in Gold will continue MLS play this weekend when they host their rivals Atlanta United on Saturday. Current player development coach Rumba Muntha-Lee will serve as the interim while they search for its next head coach. Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Social media. Let us do the talking for you. Call us at 615-242-9000.
Fox 17 News this morning, your only local news source, 7 to 9 a.m.
All right, in your entertainment news tonight, the season 2 finale of Farmer Wants a Wife had a happy ending for our Nashville farmer, Mitchell Kalinsky. He picked his dream girl, Sydney Herrera, in tonight's post-finale tell-all, full of big moments of what life has been like after the show. We have both Mitchell and Sydney joining us from the farm here in Nashville. How are you two doing?
We're really good. We're really good. We've been having so much fun.
Well, I can see you both are together and at the farm. You can finally be seen in public together. How long have you two actually been dating and having to keep it a secret?
We've been dating undercover for about 6 or 7 months, I'd say. So it's been interesting.
Yeah, and so it's long distance right now. How is the relationship working?
It's going great. She's still up in Jersey, but luckily it's just a short flight, so she comes down here quite often.
Yeah, we spent like a month, a couple weeks in Arkansas the day after we filmed the finale. So we got to spend a lot of time right off filming together.
Well, I'm sure it's been such a whirlwind, and you know, with a lot of the ladies on the show, there was concerns about would they fit in for the farm life. Sydney, I don't think that was ever a question with you. You were kind of just built for this. But what has it been like adjusting to the farm?
It's been a lot of fun. It's been it's funny because back at home I have sheep that I have to take care of. So when I come see him, I'm like, oh, I'm going on vacation. But I get here and we start working. We got chicken coops to clean, like everything. We've been doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So what are the future plans?
Future plans, going on a lot of trips this summer, and then hunting and fishing. You know, we both love the outdoors so much, so I was fortunate enough to find a girl that's as passionate about it as I am. So we're going to do a lot of adventures and keep moving.
Well, you two are one of the lucky ones, because not all the farmers walked away with their happy ending. In fact, what created a lot of buzz this season, Farmer Ty, he sent both of those ladies home, one of which was Megan from Nashville. Like, what was that about?
You know, I love Farmer Ty, and I love both those girls, and I would have loved to see him end up with somebody, but at the end of the day, you know, he didn't decide to pick someone, I think because he didn't see himself really want to have children, and I admire that, because I didn't want to see a relationship, you know, come to end over not being able to have children. So I think he made a good decision for himself. I would have loved to see him pick Megan, but you know, he made his own decision.
Well, do you have any farmer friends for Megan?
I think I might.
Okay. We're just so happy to see you two so happy.
Thank you. Yeah, we're so happy to be here. Sydney's been a great help on the farm. The Giving Vine, my farm, is opened up in July. It's a pick your own garden where we're encouraging the community to come out and pick all your vegetables fully organic, no herbicides or pesticides. And we have 28 different varieties of vegetables and cut flowers. So we're really excited to open that up to the community.
And the community will get to meet both of you, Mitchell and Sydney. Congratulations again.
Yeah.
So glad to see you both together.
Thank y'all. God bless.
Well, it's a problem highlighted by Spotlight on America for years now. Heavy metals in baby food. Why some say the Food and Drug Administration is failing to keep America's children safe.
And coming up, we'll continue to talk about...
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Ponce Law.
Tonight in Spotlight on America, uncovering problems in the baby food industry. It's been a problem for years. And tonight, new developments concerning toxic heavy metals in baby food.
Member of Congress is fighting to make that baby food safer. And tonight, our Lisa Fletcher shares a pointed letter that member of Congress sent to the commissioner of the FDA.
Dr. Califf, this is unacceptable. Completely unacceptable.
Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy scolding the FDA's commissioner earlier this month for failing to set limits on neurotoxic metals in baby food. It's been 3 years since a bombshell congressional report called out the top baby food makers for dangerous levels of lead, arsenic, cadmium, and mercury in their products. Back then, the FDA created a program called Closer to Zero that was supposed to deliver strict limits to protect kids. But the timeline set by the agency that once promised concrete action by this year have been abandoned.
I want to throw up here a screenshot of your website from today. So in terms of when, for instance, arsenic in baby food would be examined and you'd be issuing final guidance on permissible levels, your website says, and this is my red circle, no update. That's what it says, right?
I'll take your word for it. I can't see it from this distance.
It's been 3 years since we issued that report. The public, the parents are outraged about the amount of toxic heavy metals that are present in baby food. And quite frankly, sir, I respectfully say that your Closer to Zero program at this point is closer to zero updates. And that's very, very disturbing.
After the hearing, the FDA changed its website again, now targeting the end of 2025 for final guidelines. But Krishnamurthy isn't taking their word for it. He sent this letter citing the FDA's failure to promptly deal with this issue and asked the agency to commit to finalizing guidance for lead in baby food by the end of this year and arsenic, cadmium, and mercury by the end of 2025. In a recent exclusive interview, he laid out why he believes the FDA has failed to act.
But what should Americans take from that in terms of the lack of action from the one place that they're expecting action?
I think that the industry is fighting back, they're resisting, and we have to do everything we can to make it clear to our legislators that we want them to act. We want them to push forward. We want our regulatory agencies like the FDA to be independent of industry. And regardless of what industry says, we have to keep our families safe.
How concerned are you that the FDA is too influenced by industry?
I'm very concerned.
Krishnamurthy introduced legislation that would have set limits for heavy metals in baby food all the way back in 2021. But it didn't come to a vote. For Spotlight on America, I'm Lisa Fletcher.
Now, the FDA was given a deadline on May the 10th to reply to the congressman's letter and commit to the deadlines laid out in it. So far, no response.
Going through tomorrow morning, the potential for some heavy pockets of rain, and then even into the afternoon, we'll continue to see the chance for showers and storms. The good news is severe weather will not be a problem for us, but the potential for heavy rain that could lead to localized or spot flooding will be the reason why we remain in our code red alert for Friday here. Beautiful shot through downtown Nashville this evening. Things do remain quiet for now, but we get into tomorrow, especially in the morning hours. We're looking at some of those showers to be with us here, and you can see that we're looking at pretty good chances for rain from 9 to 11 a.m. here. 70% chance in Nashville, up to 80 in Clarksville. Temperatures will be right around 70 or so throughout the morning and should top off in those mid 70s for the day. Notice too, chances for rain do go up a little bit as we head into the early part of the afternoon. Again, this is going to be scattered throughout the day and throughout Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky, but chances are you'll probably see rain for tomorrow. Then we head into Friday night and then early Saturday morning. Notice rain chances don't completely disappear, but they will drop off quite a bit. So I do think we'll have a bit of a break between Friday evening and early Saturday morning. As we get into Saturday afternoon, another chance for showers moving in. All this to say too that it'll start to feel a little more humid, of course, with a little more moisture in the air. These showers and thunderstorms around will feel a bit on the humid side. I know it did today. We look ahead to the last few weeks of May, and it looks like we may be dealing with more above average precipitation. In fact, the Climate Prediction Center calling for above average precipitation as we go through the last few days of May. So this is looking at the 24th through the 30th here. And above average is the story for rainfall as well as temperatures. A lot of the warmer weather possible south and then to the east, with below average temperatures possible to the north and to the west. So something we'll be looking for as we head into the final few weeks of May. Of course, too, inching closer to Memorial Weekend for the final weekend of May. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Again, tomorrow we'll be in our code red day. Again, it's shifted from severe weather more towards heavy rainfall, and that will be spotting. We're not expecting widespread rain, but some areas, especially north and west of Nashville, will have the potential for some of that spot flooding. Scattered showers and storms continue for Saturday. Unfortunately, if you have outdoor plans, I would have a backup plan in place, because it does look like, especially after lunchtime through early evening, will be the best time for showers to be around. We dry out on Sunday and warm up as we head towards Monday of next week. Highs will be close to 90 with partly cloudy skies, and showers and storms continue for
all local, all morning, even during commercials. Watch Fox 17 News this morning.
Fox 17 News Farrier Files is sponsored by Bart Durham Injury Law.
Take a look at this as Metro Police helicopters catch some teenagers on the run after a carjacking at a South Nashville Dollar General store. The helicopter followed the teens as they bailed out in a neighborhood today after a chase down I-40. Now, police eventually caught up with all of the teenagers involved and say they recovered 3 guns. The youngest of those teenagers, all between 13 and 18. The youngest, of course, 13.
We're looking ahead to tomorrow and the story of a Rutherford County family frustrated with the Tennessee Department of Children's Services.
In a Fox 17 News investigation, we meet the family that fostered 2 young boys and grew to love them. They understood all along the goal, of course, in cases like this is to reunite the child with their birth parents. But they say the boys were better off in their care. The couple says the Department of Children's Services abruptly removed the boys, and they now worry about their safety as this custody battle rages on.
Yeah, that's one thing that we did was
We didn't see them as guests in our home. We saw them as our boys. Anything and everything that they needed, we gave it to them. You get to know them and realize that nobody's really cared enough.
Well, again, this story will be on Fox 17 News tomorrow on our 9 o'clock news when our Amanda Chen digs into the couple's concerns and why some say Tennessee's foster care system needs reform.
Well, what do you think? Earlier in the newscast, we told you about our X poll asking the question, do you worry about cyber criminals impacting critical infrastructure? We've had just over 250 people weigh in, and 82.3% of voters say yes, 17.7% say no. Thanks to all who voted tonight.
Duties. We couldn't pay bills. It's more about the way they feel about their clients and trying to help them get back on their feet.
That's why I do what I do.
You treat us like a person and not just another claim.
Well, if you love peaches and things that are made with them, you will want to get yourself, maybe your family too, to the Putnam County Fairgrounds in Cookeville this weekend.
Well, that's where Middle Tennessee's Peach Festival is taking place, and you can stock up on all those fresh peaches from the peach truck and enjoy all things peachy. They'll have peach salsa, peach tacos, peach cobbler, peach tea, and peach soda. The festival runs 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's this Saturday.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
We begin tonight with the Fox 17 Code Red weather alert as storms tomorrow could lead, unfortunately, to more flooding.
Well, here's a live look over Nissan Stadium and the Cumberland River below, which could rise again after the last several weeks of severe weather. Code Red Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan in now with the timing impacting maybe a lot of people's weekends plans.
Yeah, well, going into Saturday, it looks like too we'll have some scattered showers around. For tomorrow, I'd say the best threat for some moderate to heavy pockets of rain will be along and northwest of Nashville, as you saw in that graphic there. Some of this too will come in the morning, and then it'll be scattered as we head through the afternoon. It'll just really depend on wherever those heavy pockets set up. That'll be where we have some places that could pick up a good maybe ½ inch to 1 inch of rain. Then we're going to add an additional inch to maybe inch and a half in some spots by Saturday night. So in total, between Friday and Saturday, a very rainy few days ahead. Radar is quiet for tonight. This is ground clutter that you're seeing there. And to our north and west, you can see scattered pockets of rain starting to pick up. Now, the bigger threat for the heavy rain will be to our north and west. The good news is severe weather is no longer an issue for us. We did at one point think that we might have severe weather, but that is not a problem for us now. Live look from Broadway, things picking up a little bit here, and our temperature is sitting right around 70 degrees. We're looking at mostly cloudy sky to turn into a cloudy sky by tomorrow morning when these showers are expected to roll through. So may find some showers for the morning commute. The temperature is hanging out right around 60 or so, mid to lower 60s in fact for tomorrow morning. And we'll be looking at rain off and on throughout the day Friday, and it looks like unfortunately for part of your weekend. We're going to walk you through timing for both tomorrow and for Saturday. That's coming up.
They chase you down, they yell at you, and sometimes it can be scary and it can be threatening.
Continuing coverage tonight as more people come forward with stories about problems with unlicensed taxi cabs in Nashville. Scary stuff. Stuff that some worry will tarnish the city's reputation as a destination for fun.
Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller joining us live from downtown after speaking with one musician that says he was victimized. Caitlin.
Megan, Scott, we've spoken with several musicians who say that they've either been ripped off or threatened by taxi drivers that don't have a Metro license to work here. And they say it's hard to determine whether or not a taxi driver is licensed just based on the outside of the taxi car. Matt Greer is a local musician who performs at Broadway's popular bars like Tootsie's and Honky Tonk Central. Greer says that he has friends who have been threatened and slapped by drivers. And he says he's been ripped off because drivers aren't using a meter that they're legally required to use.
They get scammed. They get in, they plug their phone in, and then they get told they can't go in. They go to grab their phone, and next thing you know, they're getting punched by the taxi driver.
Fox 17 News reached out to the director of the Transportation Licensing Commission twice this week to see if they are aware of this issue, and we have not heard back. A TLC board member says that they do have regulations and enforcement, but musicians like Greer say that more needs to be done, especially on the outside of the taxis, to determine whether it is legitimate or not. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
In Operation Crime and Justice, a Metro Police helicopter today helps officers on the ground capture 5 teenagers they say carjacked a woman in South Nashville today. Police say the teens, all between 13 and 18, put a gun to a woman's head at a Dollar General store. They were quickly spotted by the helicopter, following them on the ground and telling the officers down below where they're headed so they could intercept. Went down Interstate 40 before pulling into a neighborhood, and then all the teenagers bailed out. Police were able to find and arrest all 5.
Continuing Operation Crime and Justice, a Nashville man on supervised release after 2 bank robbery convictions is indicted for another bank robbery. 44-year-old Jeremy Stacy Godwin faces 1 count of bank robbery. Investigators say Godwin entered a Truist Bank on Nolensville Pike in Nashville, threatening to use a gun and demanding money. If convicted, Godwin faces up to 20 years in federal prison.
Looking ahead to tomorrow now, the story of a Rutherford County family frustrated with the Tennessee Department of Children's Services. The family fostered a couple of young boys, grew to love them. They understood all along the goal for the state was to reunite the children with their birth parents. But they say both of these boys were better off in their care. The couple says that DCS abruptly removed the children. Now they're worried about the children's safety as they continue to fight to regain custody.
Yeah, that's one thing that we did was we didn't see them as guests in our home. We saw them as our boys. Anything and everything that they needed, we gave it to them. You get to know them and realize that nobody's really cared enough.
Well, tomorrow on Fox 17 News at 9, our Amanda Chen digs into this couple's concerns and why some believe Tennessee's foster care system needs to reform.
This week on Full Measure, 5G is the new technology powering our smartphones. It's supposed to make things work better and faster, but there are concerns about the health impacts. A government study designed to answer important safety questions suddenly halted, and these concerns are being disputed.
They brought in these reviewers, and here's what the reviewers said. We've now looked at all the evidence, and we think that there is, quote, clear evidence of cancer. That was what the study found.
The energy levels, the power levels from these things are very, very low compared to what we use in medicine and compared to what you get from the sun. In terms of what to do if you are worried about it, I mean, there are options for using your speakerphone or some other things.
This week on Full Measure, Cheryl Atkinson investigates both sides. That is Sunday morning at 7:30 right here on Fox 17.
How to prepare and stay safe. Fox 17 News, your Code Red station. Alerts, empowers, protects.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Tennessee Home Buyers.
Well, new tonight, House Republicans on 2 committees want to hold the Attorney General in contempt of Congress. Merrick Garland previously refused to turn over audio recordings of a special counsel interview with President Biden.
Well, now, as Fox 17 News' Matt Galka shows us, the president himself is stepping in.
Shortly before House Republicans on the Judiciary Committee were set to make the contempt case against Attorney General Merrick Garland, President Biden asserted executive privilege over audio recordings of his special counsel interview.
We get an 11th hour invocation of executive privilege. President Biden is asserting executive privilege for the same reason we need the audio recordings. They offer a unique perspective. This last-minute invocation does not change the fact that the Attorney General has not complied with our subpoena.
The recordings stem from special counsel Robert Hur's investigation into the president's mishandling of classified documents. Hur's report and testimony to Congress cleared the president of charges because of insufficient evidence. But his report also characterized the president as an elderly man with a poor memory. Republicans say the audio is necessary to get the totality of information and possibly advance an impeachment investigation.
There's evidence that the White House has doctored official transcripts to hide a verbal slip-up from President Biden already. So if they're already doctoring official transcripts, we need the tapes.
In a letter, White House counsel told the committee seeking contempt charges against Garland, executive privilege was necessary to keep Republicans from using the audio for political gain.
We have gone to extraordinary lengths to ensure that the committees get responses to their legitimate requests, but this is not one.
Democrats accused Republicans of looking for revenge because of the trials Donald Trump is facing.
This is about doing everything to help Donald Trump, who you see as your client, who a New York criminal trial sees as a defendant, to help him win an election.
If Garland is ultimately held in contempt, he'd join former AGs Bill Barr and Eric Holder as cabinet officials hit with the charge. But neither of those men faced charges from their own justice departments. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
I'm Christine Frizan with why we're getting a clear look at the future of the balance of power on Capitol Hill.
And coming up, we'll talk more about the
Get a low $2.99 per month lease or get 2.9% APR financing for 60 months on Rogue.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Zander Insurance.
More people are shopping at Walmart. The retail giant reporting an upbeat quarter. Sales rose, and it is raising expectations for this year. Walmart says it is picking up more high-income shoppers, including online. It's also making more from membership programs and advertising. It's not looking so good for Under Armour, though. The sportswear brand going forward with its second restructuring plan in 4 years, after warning of a big drop in revenue in North America. The new turnaround plan will include layoffs. Well, Coca-Cola has developed new sustainable bottle caps for Europe to satisfy regulators' concerns that the caps also will be recycled. The caps stay attached to the bottle. However, the caps are smacking soda drinkers in the face. Customers are complaining the attached caps hit and scratch their noses, cheeks, and lips, and can be more difficult to close completely. And in other beverage news, after years of fans asking for larger sizes, Capri Sun is launching a 96-ounce bottle of its classic fruit punch flavor. They can be found exclusively at BJ's Wholesale Club, Sam's Club, and select Costco stores. That's business. CJ Papa, Fox News.
In politics, the November election will decide not only who wins the White House, but also who's in charge on Capitol Hill. Right now, the Democrats have a majority in the U.S. Senate, and Republicans have a majority in the House.
Well, Fox 17 News' Christine Frizan takes a look at how it all could change based on 2 state elections.
This is not just about the differences between the right and the left. This is about the difference between right and wrong.
He's a moderate Republican with high approval ratings and a history of working across the aisle. And that is exactly what Democrats are afraid of.
People are active in the chamber.
Larry Hogan, the former governor of deep blue Maryland, now the official Republican candidate for the Senate, who will face off against Democrat Angela Alsobrooks.
The vision that we have for our state and for our country, that's what this discussion is about. Whether or not we protect a woman's right to choose, whether we codify it in federal law, whether or not we protect voting rights.
How are you? For now, polls show Alsobrooks leading, but Democrats are already on defense. Are you going to caucus with the Republicans?
Of course I am. I'm a lifelong Republican going back to Ronald Reagan.
The Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee laying out the stakes in ads like this. The balance of power in the Senate already tipped with the retirement of West Virginia's Joe Manchin, who represented the state which Trump won in 2016 and 2020 by 40 points.
Listen, I love President Trump.
Jim Justice's expected victory already means the 51-49 Senate split will almost certainly shift to 50-50 next year. All Republicans have to do is pick up one of these 8 Democratic seats considered to be in play to have a true majority.
The difficult road for Democrats in the Senate expected for Republicans in the House. With just a 1-vote majority and more than 3 dozen vulnerable seats, current polls are actually giving Democrats a slight edge in taking over control after the election. In Washington, I'm Christine Frizzau.
The good news is severe weather chances out. The bad news, we'll still have to watch for pockets of heavy rain, especially for tomorrow morning. And then going into the afternoon, becoming scattered. And then it looks like more rain may be possible as we head towards the weekend. So really in for a couple of wet days. It's not going to be raining every day, all day, but we will have some pockets of intense rainfall, I believe, for both days here. Best chance for that will be tomorrow morning. And notice it does linger into portions of the afternoon. It's just going to depend on your location. Then we have a break going into late Friday, early Saturday. Then we get into Saturday afternoon and evening. We'll have more showers around, and some of those could be on the heavy side. As far as tomorrow is concerned, there is a risk for some heavy rainfall, mainly along and northwest of Nashville. I do think we are looking at some of those higher amounts of rain that'll be closer to Clarksville, Hopkinsville, and out towards Paris. As we take a look here, what's going on through tonight and into tomorrow, you can see showers do pick up through the morning hours. So expecting some of those rain showers to be with us. They do clear a little more through the evening hours. Won't be 100% dry, but better bet of staying mainly dry for the overnight into Saturday morning. Starting the morning with a stray shower for Saturday, but better chance of rain developing after lunchtime. This is 8 a.m. into the early evening. So by 8 p.m. you can see more of those showers around Middle Tennessee. And then we begin to dry out as we head into Sunday. Sunday right now is looking to be a pretty nice day with decreasing clouds and temperatures warming up. We'll be in the mid 80s. Here's Thursday night, a little closer to home now as we head into early Friday. Again, scattered in nature here. This is 6 a.m., but I do think we're going to see some of these pockets around. Some could be on the moderate to heavy side. Notice between 6 and 11 that the coverage begins to spread a little more across Middle Tennessee. Some moderate to heavy rain even for those north and west of Middle Tennessee and southern Kentucky. Scattered rain then possible as we head through the afternoon on Friday, and then as we head into Friday evening it starts to dry out. Break into early Saturday morning as we head through the overnight. Maybe a few showers, but again, majority of us do stay dry. Saturday late morning, afternoon, we are mainly dry as well, but it'll be afternoon that we start to see rain chances build in again. Pockets of moderate to heavy rain will be possible. That'll continue into the early evening hours. This is right around 7. And then as we head into early Sunday, we begin to dry out. So in total here, I would say between Friday and Saturday, the potential for 1, maybe 2 inches of rain will be here. Right now, models are hinting at maybe the majority of that rain coming in on Saturday. So that is something we will keep an eye on here. But again, it'll just depend on where those heavy pockets set up. This isn't going to be a one-time type thing that we can really time out for you. This is going to be one of those scattered chances for both Friday and Saturday. Sunday drying out. Monday looking warm. In fact, we could be near 90, which would be our first 90-degree day if we do reach it.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
A haboob, or intense dust storm, engulfed portions of the Texas Panhandle on Wednesday. Severe storms with winds gusting up to 92 miles per hour created the haboob. Up to 6 inches of rain fell this morning in Rhode Island, triggering minor flooding across some communities. And it took a few hours, but a dense morning fog finally cleared up over Rochester, New York.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on TikTok.
You can see more stories like this every weekday morning on the National Weather Desk. It starts at 8 a.m. on our
Lazy Boys Memorial Day sale, 25% off everything in the store. Going on now at all 3 Lazy Boy locations.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by the Rocky McElhaney Law Firm.
Just
Just 12 games into the MLS season, and Nashville SC has decided the Gary Smith era is officially over. The mid-season move may come as a bit of a surprise, but if you've been following the club this season, you might have seen the writing on the wall. Smith has led Nashville SC to 6 straight playoff appearances. However, the argument could be made they've never been able to take that next step in the postseason. After a conference semifinal appearance in 2021, Nashville SC has failed to win an MLS playoff game the last 2 years. It's also worth noting that Nashville SC was close, very close to getting its first ever trophy last year, finishing runner-up in the League's Cup final. But since that run, Nashville SC has won just 5 of its last 27 MLS matches. It's also important to take into account that injuries have played a big role this season. All 3 of Nashville's designated players have missed significant time. And really, Gary Smith has only had his first choice of players for the last couple of weeks. Ben Wright with MLSsoccer.com and Broadway Sports Media points out, though, that the injuries haven't been the only concerning part of Nashville's play.
These issues that we're seeing, certainly injuries haven't helped, but it's the same issues that they had last year with the full roster, pretty much since their League's Cup run, since they made it to the final last summer and lost to Inter Miami. They struggled to really create anything going forward. Their attack was predictable, didn't change anything up. It was kind of the same old story for them for most of the year, and we've seen a lot of those issues kind of carry on into 2024.
You heard Ben mention the lack of offense from this team. Well, their decrease in number of goals from season to season is proof of that. Last year, Nashville scoring just 39 goals in the regular season, ranked 22nd in the league. This year, only 15 goals. They're only 12 games in, but still that number already ranking 20th in the MLS. As for what's next, Boys in Gold will continue MLS play this weekend when they host their rivals Atlanta United on Saturday. Current player development coach Rumba Muntha-Lee will serve as the interim while they search for its next head coach. Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Fighting blood cancers. I'm Liz Bonus. We share new research and how we are making progress. It is just ahead.
With the weather warming up, it won't be long until pools and lakes are filled with swimmers. We're going to tell you how a new program that's hoping to save lives this summer is already starting to take effect. That's coming up Friday on Fox 17 News this morning.
Sale is going on now. For a limited time, get a free adjustable base with any mattress purchase. Plus, get up to 50% off sleep bundles starting at just $9.99. For better sleep and savings, shop Ashley today.
In health news, new treatments that show promise for people who are battling blood cancer.
Well, Fox 17 medical reporter Liz Bonus explains what doctors say is making a difference in saving lives.
Hey there, everybody. Those who treat blood cancer say we are making progress, but more research still is needed to have more long-term survivors.
Maddie Havera was diagnosed with the blood cancer acute myeloid leukemia at just 2 years old. She's 10 now and doing great.
You got to think on the positive.
At this Ohio Leukemia and Lymphoma Society event, she was one of several long-term blood cancer survivors. Kate Schroeder was diagnosed more than a decade ago.
I discovered lymph nodes, like grape-like lumps on my clavicle, and ignored them for a few weeks. But I went and got scans, and everything changed when you get that diagnosis.
Scott Carroll, nearly 3 decades ago.
In 1996, when my wife was 7 months pregnant, I had a bump under my arm, and I went to my father-in-law, who's a doc, and he said, "Oh, don't worry about it, but let me know if it doesn't go away in a couple of weeks." And then 3 days later, a series of bumps came up my neck, quite literally. And I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma and underwent about 9 months of treatment.
That treatment has changed dramatically in the last few decades, thanks in part to money raised for research at walks like these that light the night for blood cancer survivors, and events like these where some of the top cancer specialists in the country come together to raise blood cancer awareness.
They help patients through their treatments by securing funds and helping give back to the community.
We had a few drugs, 2 or 3. Now we have 8, 10, 12, and a lot of the research that's very exciting is how do we use what we now have and how do we organize them together.
We are trying to harness the immune system of the patient, genetically modify those products and give it back to the patient.
Each patient's cancer is individual, and finally our cancer drugs are individualized, and we're targeting specific receptors, specific mutations, so that the right patient gets the right drug at the right time.
The goal is now to have more Maddies overcome the odds, or as Maddie would put it,
I want people to look at me and say I can do it too.
The Leukemia Lymphoma Society says that almost half of the cancers in kids are blood cancers, and one of the next steps in research is to reduce the long-term side effects that many have with treatment. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
We've had so much rain lately, I just leave the